I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. New video has leaked of Tucker Carlson whining about how triggered he was following his deposition in the Dominion defamation case. Play the clip.
Well, that was a week, I'll say. Holy shit. 10 hours. That slimy little motherfucker sitting across from me. Oh, you're the best. And I wasn't talking about you. It's just the opposite.
He's giving me a compliment.
No, I'm not. What do you mean? Because you've never been this affirmed in your life? But thank you, Alex. Have a happy weekend. See you, man. The amount, it was so unhealthy, the hate. Thank you, Teresa. The hate that I felt for that guy. I mean, thank you, Todd.
How could you not?
I never feel that way, because I don't put myself, I don't want to feel that way. I think it's wrong. It's bad. It's totally bad for you to feel that way. But that guy, I mean, he triggered the shit out of me. Where are you now? Where do you live? I mean, the amount of times I had, first of all, fuck you on my lips was like, it was unbelievable. Suggesting that I was cheating on my taxes?
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. So where are you domiciled? Where are you now? Do you own a home there? I was like, no, I do not own a home in Maine, which I don't.
You know, Tucker Carlson claims to be so strong, and he talks about his testicle tanning and his testosterone, but that's a very weak and whiny person right there. Do MAGA Republicans look at that and go, oh, that's a very strong person? And just as that video leaked, just before that, we heard from Abby Grossberg, and she discussed how Tucker Carlson was previously trying to broker and actually was involved in brokering the speakership for the weakest speaker of the House in American history, Kevin McCarthy, and how he was trying to get the Gates faction and the Kevin McCarthy faction ultimately to work together so that the Republican Party would just become a full-fledged extremist party that they are right now. Play this clip of the Abby Grossberg interview.
Persona.
Yeah. I mean, they believed that he could broker who was Speaker, House Speaker. He wanted to do that live on air, but Kevin McCarthy said no.
What do you mean he wanted to do that live on air?
His plan was to have Kevin McCarthy come on the show, according to Justin Wells revealed this grand plan to us. Tucker, a few days earlier, had sort of set some terms for McCarthy, which included this church kind of committee that he said about, I think this was about January 5th, so about January 2nd, he said, you should have this church committee. So fast forward to January 5th, they start asking me to book McCarthy on the show that night. I had worked with him a lot when I was at Sunday Morning Futures and had a relationship with his team. That afternoon, Justin came in and he said, here's the plan. Tucker's going to first have Kevin on, hear him beg and grovel. Then we'll bring in Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz will then kind of set his terms. Then Tucker will set his terms that McCarthy has to agree to.
Tucker Carlson had terms that McCarthy
had terms. And we're going to make this whole thing happen on air and save the Republican Party. Now, fortunately, for McCarthy's sake, he said no. But he did call Tucker the next day from his office with Representative Thomas Massie and had agreed to some of Tucker's terms, according to a text that Tucker had sent me. And he said that was a win.
Prior to working for Carlson, you worked on Maria Bartiromo.
Lots of Tucker Carlson leaks. Also, this text message leaked that Tucker Carlson sent on January 7th, 2021 to a producer. And he talks about how the way in which white men are supposed to fight. Let me read you this message that Tucker sent. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching video of people fighting on the street in Washington. A group of Trump guys surrounded an Antifa kid and started pounding the living shit out of him. It was 3 against 1 at least. Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable, obviously. It's not how white men fight. Yet suddenly, I found myself rooting for the mob against the man, hoping they'd hit him harder, kill him. I really wanted them to hurt the kid. I could taste it. Then somewhere deep in my brain, an alarm went off. This isn't good for me. I'm becoming something I don't want to be. The Antifa creep is a human being. Much as I despise what he says and does, much as I'm sure I'd hate him personally if I knew him, I shouldn't gloat over his suffering. I shouldn't be bothered by it. I should remember that somewhere somebody probably loves this kid and would be crushed if he was killed. If I don't care about those things, if I reduce people to their politics, how am I better than he is? And specifically the part of this where he goes, it's not how white men fight, and that he was rooting for the mob against the man, hoping that they would kill him. A New York Times article with the headline, Carlson's text that alarmed Fox leaders, it's not how white men fight, came out. And it says, the discovery of the text message contributed to a chain of events that ultimately led to Tucker Carlson's firing. And by the way, it's absolutely horrific what he said in that message, but can we also remember that he said all of this?
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax. There's no evidence that white supremacists were responsible for what happened on January 6th. That's a lie. We have a moral obligation to admit the world's poor, they tell us, even if it makes our own country poorer and dirtier and more divided. Demographics. Remember the Great Replacement theory? Was it conspiracy theory? It sounds more like a statistical fact. Ilhan Omar is living proof that the way we practice immigration has become dangerous to this country. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, herself a symbol of America's failed immigration system. Can a single human being actually be as loathsome as Ilhan Omar is? It's hard to believe. Dating Montel Williams, is something that's within her range of experience. Is she good at it? We can't say, but she's done it. Just for masochistic reasons, can you do one more time? So it might be time for Joe Biden to let us know what Ketanji Brown Jackson's LSAT score was. What the hell did she do in the LSATs? They think that you should be elevated in America based on what you do, on the choices you make, not on how you're born, not in your DNA, because that's Rwanda. Rwanda. We're still not precisely sure how George Floyd died. Very few unarmed black men are killed by white cops these days. Where's George Floyd when you need him? The only job training program this administration has gotten behind in 2.5 years is getting black people to sell more weed in the cities. You never see politicians transition into, say, Malcolm X. Why is that? Maybe because Malcolm X didn't talk like a sharecropper. Xenophobia! It seems almost antique. This show, more than any other show on television, has taken an aggressive position in favor of colorblind equality and against racism.
I guess now the question at Fox is who's going to try and replace Tucker. Their ratings are completely down. They're down in the demo. They're down by millions and millions of viewers in that Tucker Carlson time slot because MAGA Republicans have been fed this diet of hate and disinformation, and they are looking for that. So cue in Jesse Waters, MAGA Republican extremist host on Fox, who, cosplays this kind of Tucker Carlson routine, and just watch what Jesse Waters said when Jessica Tarlov confronted him about some ridiculous xenophobic statement that he made. Play this clip.
Of them. The mayor here is complaining about a couple thousand with more resources than any other city in the entire country. That's ridiculous. Now, I saw on the way into work a illegal immigration family digging through the trash looking for recyclables.
How did you know they were illegal?
You can tell. And
Jesse.
I can tell. I'm a city guy. And you don't want me to get into it, but I can tell. And it is the saddest thing to see because they're not able to work here. They came to work, but they're not able to work here. And the point is this. You have to be able to choose the people that come into the country based on needs. If you need this type of person, you need this type of, bring them in. But to just say, come everybody in, and then, oops, now people are looking for, a 5-cent bottle. That's not right. And you can't blame the guy down in Texas for that. Joe Biden is the common denominator for.
I don't even know what that, what is that? Oh, I know. I mean, it is the opposite of strength. I mean, when I look at that video, I don't know about you, but I see people who are so intellectually dishonest, people who are so weak, people who wear their malignant narcissistic pathology on their sleeve, who you can't even have a conversation with these people because they just shout and they yell it. And y'all know people exactly like the Jesse Waters, and the Tucker Carlsons of the world. But the fact that they get a platform on a major media network like Fox to spew the hate, to spew this disinformation is utterly repugnant. And, media companies should have obligations to the truth. There's a reason they were called the fourth estate. There's a reason why media is so important historically. And it is, again, so utterly disappointing that media has failed to rise to the present moment. But right here on the MeidasTouch Network, we're not going to gaslight you. We're just going to call it out as we see it, just as we do here every single day. We're not both-sidesing this issue. We talk about compassion, intelligence, humanity, decency, and of course, our democracy. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you so much for watching this. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. Please hit subscribe. Check us out as well on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And also, wherever you get audio podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Thank you all so much for watching this, and hit subscribe on YouTube. It is free.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.